In this video, I'm going to try to build a device monitor. It's going to be a Raspberry Pi that's going to ping certain devices in my network and make sure they're all up and running. So here you can see the box that I designed. I'm going to end up 3D printing this. And it's going to house a Raspberry Pi Zero, and I'm creating some holes on the outside so I could test and connect all the cords. So the Blinkt has 8 LEDs. I'm going to utilize each one of these to represent a device on my network that I want to keep tabs on to make sure it's up and running. Okay, to get Blinkt mounted on the Pi, we need to solder the headers on first. So I'm going to try this new imager that Raspberry Pi has released. I haven't done it in a while, and I usually use Etcher, so I'm kind of excited to try this new one out. I'll put a link below so you can download this yourself. I'm putting this on a Raspberry Pi Zero, so I don't really want much on this. I don't need the desktop or anything, so I'm going to download the Raspbian Lite and just have the server running on this. So this one's kind of nice. You don't have to download the image first and then load it up, so this will do all that for you. So you get to kind of skip a step. So once this is loaded onto my disk, I need to go ahead and create a file, WPA supplicant, and put my Wi-Fi settings in. I usually keep this file on my desktop because I'm always dropping these in the onto my Raspberry Pis. So just edit this the way your network is set up and drop it in the boot directory, and that should get you running. Next, head over to GitHub. I have a link below that has all the code for the device monitor, so pretty much it's going to be a copy and paste. When you first set up your Raspberry Pi, you need to go ahead and configure SSH because we're going to need to get in remotely. Once you've logged in, you need to go ahead and type in nano and then a file name. I use serverMonitor.py. This is going to be the file that holds our code to light up the Blinkt. And you go ahead and paste in that code that you copied from the GitHub site. If you look at the top of the file, you'll see a variable called host list. These are the 8 IP addresses that you could put in here to monitor for your devices. So go ahead and change these IP addresses to the ones you want. When you're done, hit Command O and then Command X to save your file. Next, we want to go ahead and install the Blinkt libraries. I'll have that command listed below so you can just copy and paste that in. So we want the script to run as soon as the Pi boots up, so we could do that by editing the crontab. So just paste this line at the bottom of the script and save. Don't worry, I'm going to have all these steps listed out so you can just follow along. Once that's done, you can go ahead and unplug the Pi, and we're going to plug it back in to see if it works. So I chose blue and red to indicate off and on for my devices. I'll show you a little bit later in the script how you can change these colors to be whatever you want. So I went through my router and tested each one by blocking it to see if it would turn red after a few seconds. So let's go ahead and start printing out the case. I'll have these files on Thingiverse and I have a link below. Assembling this is pretty straightforward. The Raspberry Pi kind of sits in this little seat here I created in the box, and I use a hot glue gun because it's just easier than I can never find screws that are small enough to fit this. A little dab of that glue won't hurt anything. The screws I use to hold the box together are number 8 1-inch long machine screws. You can find these at Home Depot or Lowe's. So here you can see me putting a little bit of hot glue to hold the Raspberry Pi on the box. Now we just want to test fit the lid and screw it in. So the red light you see here is my Ring camera, one of my Ring cameras. It's a little bit farther from the Wi-Fi, so I think it takes a little bit longer to connect, or it doesn't have as good a connection. There are a number of ways you could print the labels on the front. You could use a Sharpie or a marker. I decided to go ahead and print them out on a piece of paper and cut it out to fit. And I also cut out a clear plastic sheet, and that is screwed onto the top of it. So here you can see I was kind of playing with the colors a little bit, with the green and red, which is more traditional for go and stop, or I guess on or off. But it looked a little bit too Christmassy for me, so I kind of liked the blue when it was all on. I also adjusted the blue and green, got kind of a cayenne color, which was nice. But again, you could play with this in the Pi file. I'll go ahead and show you where that is, and you could set these the red, blue, green adjustments, and you can also set the brightness on the Blinkt. So if you look at line 25, you'll see the set pixel function. That is setting the color to blue. So the 00, that's red, green, and the last one is blue. So 255 is all blue. You could adjust any combination you want on this, and the same goes for line 27. That is for when the device is off. So right now it's currently set to all red, 255 on the first number. If you look at line 9, that is your brightness. So currently I have it set to half bright, 0.5. If you set it to 1.0, that is full brightness. So you can adjust that any way you want, if you want it brighter or a little bit more dim. So you may have noticed I didn't have a whole lot of access holes in the case. I got a little tired of taking the top off and testing things, so I recreated the box with some more holes so you can get the HDMI cable in if you want to put it on a monitor or something like that. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks.